I'm at my buddy Nick's house. I came up here numerous times. I think this is like the fifth time now. It started with, you know, his boiler didn't work. And a year went by, he never got anybody to it. I loaned him all my electric heaters, and he rung up like $5,000 or $2,000 in the electric bill last winter. I start to fix this thing. I get the new sight glass, and then he tells me, no, something else is wrong with it. I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me in the beginning? Let me know everything so I could do a proper triage here. You said this is all that was wrong. I fixed it. It's got a new sight glass. It don't leak. All right? I had to rebuild this. Completely gummed up. When I let the water out of it, and you couldn't blow it down from here, we had to use that, and that has to be replaced. This is still leaking, but I'm not worried about that right now. I start to open up. This boiler is leaking everywhere. Everywhere. It needs fire rope, fire putty, fire cement, fire blanket. I might even need a combustion chamber. I don't know. I didn't get into there yet, but I will tell you this. The combustion chamber is full of stuff. This boiler was plugged. And none of the people came over here. I mean, one company, Apple Oil, 3 years ago, put a burner on here. But the next company said, oh, you need a new boiler. It's no good. Bullshit. Burner work. It's a good boiler. It's just nobody did the proper maintenance. It doesn't last forever. Look, these kind of temperatures to make steam and everything. All right? I'm going to fix it. If you didn't get me the materials, it'll be fixed by the time I go home. I fired this bitch up night before last. All right, after I rebuilt this, because it wouldn't go off when we let the water off. That burner would let the water out. A little water on the burner wouldn't stop. So I threw the switch on the wall. Now the burner stops when you let the water out of it. But when you turn it on to get heat, it never wants to shut off. And you got heat is blazing. Now you're starting to make some pressure. I know there's got to be pressure there, but nothing was showing up on the gauge, on the steam gauge. And everything was plugged, and the pressure trough was all plugged up with gunk. I sprayed it all out. I got it working again. Hopefully it's going to work nice. It works on the bench when I stick a pin in it. It goes click, 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 click. You know, and I know it works because when it was hooked up and I had these two wires hooked up to it, it was shutting the burner off. Okay, so that was that problem. It's fixed. I just don't have it all back together again yet. But, my God, I don't know who else. I know Apple Oil used to take care of this 3 or 4 years ago. And I know he hasn't used this in almost 2 years. This thing. A year and a half. So I don't know what's going on here. Obviously, whoever was taking care of this was not doing their cleanings, because this is the worst I've ever seen. You see how big these ports are, these baffles are? Completely plugged. They already vacuumed them out. Completely plugged. Alright? The side panel was not here. And this one got to be cemented back in. Look. It's got to be cemented back in. It goes right there. That's where it goes. But it's got to be cemented in there. Alright? The cement's got to get hard. And then you put the panel on there. The panel is sitting down in here. So the fire was coming out up against the insulation. It's a miracle the house didn't burn down. You know? I mean, really. I'm glad I checked, because I knew I better check the rest of this shit out. There's no way in hell I'm going to let him. I won't put it back together unless he goes and buys what he needs. I don't care. I told him, max your credit card out if you got it. You know? If that's $100, you better spend it. Because I got to fix this. Because it's getting cold at night. It's cold at night now. You know? Here we are. September 30th, October 1st. I got a car show tomorrow. It's probably going to be my last one of the season. I take the Lincoln out tomorrow. And help fight breast cancer. Over at, I think it's Stephen Ford and Lincoln in Milford. I'm planning on going there tomorrow with my 64 Lincoln. Anyway, hopefully we get through today. I got to remove this burner so I can get into the firebox and inspect all of that and make sure the firebox is good. At least on this side, the caulk and everything from here down is good at the bottom half. That's a good sign that everything might be good inside. But this panel wasn't even on. It was sitting at the bottom. Fucking house could have burned down. Now I got to take all of this off. And the same thing on this side. I got to strip it all down. Alright.